Have you ever wondered why ancient yogis and Buddhist monks dedicated their lives to mastering the art of observation? This wasn't merely a philosophical pursuit. They had discovered something profound about the nature of reality. The power of observation, when properly understood, reveals itself as the cornerstone of manifestation. When we truly observe something, we direct our full attention toward it, and this focused attention becomes the catalyst for bringing specific experiences into our lives. Today, I want to share with you how this ancient wisdom can transform your modern life, how you can harness your attention to create the reality you deeply desire. Because learning to consciously direct your attention isn't just a helpful skill, it's the most powerful ability you possess as a co-creator of your existence. Let's begin by exploring how your attention literally shapes which version of reality materializes in your experience. To truly understand this concept, we must first comprehend how energy flows through our lives. Have you ever felt completely stuck, as though you're working diligently towards something that never seems to manifest? Or perhaps you've noticed recurring patterns, the same relationship dynamics, identical workplace challenges, similar health issues, playing out like a broken record. These repetitive experiences emerge when energy becomes stagnant, rather than flowing freely as it naturally should. When energy cannot move, it creates repeated circumstances, the same stories cycling through your life experience. What directs this flow of energy? Your attention. Wherever your attention goes, energy follows without question. Your focus becomes the conductor of this life force current. What many haven't recognized is that attention manifests in two fundamental forms, polar and non-polar. Polar attention possesses the remarkable capacity to both attract and repel reality simultaneously. Think of how any problem, when viewed from a different angle, transforms into a solution, two sides of the same coin. Polar attention functions exactly this way. It attracts certain experiences while simultaneously repelling others. Beyond polar attention exists non-polar attention, completely neutral in nature, with the extraordinary ability to dissolve reality altogether. When considering how quantum events manifest in our lives, this distinction becomes crucial. Imagine polar attention divided into positive attention and negative attention. Here's the fascinating truth. Life doesn't discriminate between these types. It responds solely to the content of our focus. As I explained previously, when we hate something, we paradoxically draw more of it toward us. Similarly, when we love something, we attract more of what we cherish. This presents the fundamental challenge for us as human beings. Throughout our developmental journey, we've been conditioned to operate from fear and survival mode. It's become deeply embedded in our biological programming. We've been trained to prioritize survival above all else. And what more effective way to survive than by identifying and avoiding potential threats? This protective mindset, constantly avoiding conflict and risk, has shaped many of us from our earliest years. This deep conditioning causes us to continuously experience more of what concerns us. Consider what dominates news cycles and social media feeds. Fear spreads more rapidly than any other emotion. This mechanism allows external influences to manipulate our behavior and choices. Think about how many proud individuals willingly fight to protect what they love, noble in principle. Yet this very pride often blinds them to larger dynamics at play. A person operating from anger becomes easily directed toward specific actions. The same applies to someone gripped by fear. Fear, anger, and pride. These emotional states often keep us trapped, focusing our attention on triggers that prompt behaviors we might not consciously choose. Many find themselves repeatedly experiencing identical relationship dynamics because they are unconsciously clinging to past wounds. Their attention fixates on avoiding previous painful experiences. Yet this negative focus ironically attracts those very same patterns and partner types. Most remain haunted by unprocessed traumatic events, fearing they haven't properly integrated these experiences. This is precisely where neutral or non-polar attention becomes invaluable, which we'll explore momentarily. For now, understand that attention divides into positive and negative polarities, and life responds to the content of what captures our mental focus. If you're standing at a crossroads facing a challenge, perhaps a difficult situation with a colleague or any other problem, your perception determines your path forward. Choose a positive perspective, viewing the situation as an opportunity for growth that will ultimately strengthen you, and you'll attract energy and experiences aligned with this positive outlook. Conversely, view the same circumstance negatively. This is terrible. I can't believe this is happening. It's going to be a disaster with no way out. And you'll attract experiences mirroring this negative mentality. Life doesn't distinguish between positive or negative attention. It responds to what you're focusing on. If you believe a situation will help you grow, your life path shifts toward a more positive trajectory, and more of what you feel positively about materializes. Alternatively, when you feel negatively about something and label it bad, negative outcomes tend to follow. Notice what's happening. When we feel positive, our mind interprets content positively. When we feel negative, our mind interprets content negatively. How can you be certain a situation is truly bad? You're making an assumption based on fear, which naturally breeds more fear. When emotions arise, we instinctively justify those feelings by seeking evidence that reinforces them. Why do we function this way? As emotional beings, feelings make us feel alive. They are integral to our survival and biological programming. When fear takes hold, we begin cataloging everything that could potentially go wrong, creating a downward spiral where negative attention influences the content of our thoughts. The fundamental issue lies in the connection between heart and mind. When something negative registers emotionally, our mind generates negative thoughts, which then manifest in our experience. This shifts us onto a corresponding life path, where more negative events unfold. This is where non-polar neutral attention becomes transformative. When we perceive experiences through this neutral lens, they simply enter our lives and pass through without gaining power over us. Facing an unpleasant situation, you can simply observe and accept it without judgment. Your life path continues unchanged. The situation simply dissolves without altering your trajectory. Most people inadvertently empower past traumas by giving them negative attention. Consider how this happens. When something unpleasant occurs, we instinctively flee because the emotions feel overwhelming and we lack effective coping strategies. This resistance actually strengthens the very thing we're trying to escape. What we resist persists. It gains power and pushes back against us. Many spend their entire lives resisting painful past experiences, living from a place of unresolved trauma. Consequently, situations that confirm and reinforce these traumas continue appearing. Remember, every circumstance has multiple aspects, like two sides of a coin. The choice of perception belongs entirely to you. Now that you understand this framework, let's explore how to effectively use it to create your desired reality. The first crucial step involves combining polar and non-polar attention. Pay careful attention to this process. This approach involves 3 key steps, and following them will disperse the energy previously devoted to negative attention, freeing more energy to nourish the positive reality you wish to create. First comes acceptance. When we find ourselves in what feels like an abyss, we must genuinely accept what has happened. Acceptance and resistance cannot coexist. Acceptance is the antidote to resistance. We're not accumulating energy here. We're simply redirecting it, getting out of our own way. Your goals and desires are actively seeking manifestation. You're just blocking their path. You need only step aside to allow them into existence. Begin with complete acceptance of your current situation. Whatever problems you're facing, whatever has you feeling stuck, or whatever nightmare scenario you fear, imagine it has already happened. You've made peace with it. You see how life continues despite this occurrence. Your worst fear no longer haunts you. This step is absolutely fundamental because many worry, if I accept the worst-case scenario, won't I attract it into my life? No, you won't. In fact, the opposite occurs. By accepting the worst-case scenario, you stop feeding it with resistance energy. Continued resistance continually nourishes it, making manifestation more likely. Simply accepting and stepping aside invokes neutral attention. Acceptance is neutral attention. To transform any area of our lives, we must begin with complete acceptance of this exact moment. We cannot change the present moment, regardless of effort, because the present constantly shifts. When you try to grasp it, it has already become the past. What remains within your power is choosing what you desire for the next moment. We often deceive ourselves into believing that certain outcomes represent failure. We become attached and identify with our actions and results. Envision your worst-case scenario and accept it completely. This reduces its emotional charge and importance. The second step involves recognizing how this setback could actually be a blessing in disguise. Every event is inherently neutral. We assign positive, negative, or neutral value through our attention. Rather than labeling something bad, consider, how might this actually benefit me? How could this serve my highest good? What constitutes a blessing in disguise? Sometimes events occur to protect us from unseen dangers. Perhaps there's something harmful in that situation that the universe is shielding you from. Maybe there's a deeper reason behind what happened. Have you considered that, like every life event, this might be happening for a purpose? If you hadn't missed that bus, perhaps it would have been involved in an accident. The universe might be protecting you in ways you cannot see. This perspective comes more easily after reaching a state of acceptance. If you're dealing with a fresh wound, don't pressure yourself to immediately search for hidden blessings. First, achieve acceptance and acknowledge what has happened. When you reach a more neutral emotional state, you can begin exploring potential positive aspects. The final step involves consistently redirecting attention toward your desired outcome. From a state of equanimity and acceptance, your attention becomes free to focus completely on what you truly want. When you master this process, you become unstoppable. Nothing can derail you. This practice determines which life path unfolds, which quantum events manifest, which experiences materialize in your reality, all through the power of your attention. There's profound wisdom in why numerous ancient cultures and spiritual traditions emphasize attention, observation, and mindful awareness. This method combines both approaches, using non-polar attention to enter acceptance, recognizing events as neither good nor bad, simply accepting their occurrence, then exploring potential blessings, and finally shifting to positive focus. When practiced from a state of equanimity, this process becomes one of the most powerful reality creation tools available to us. As a co-creator of reality, your attention is your most potent instrument. Learning to direct it effectively allows you to manifest your desired life. Today's essential message is this: if you're feeling negative about yourself, allow yourself to accept those feelings fully. Once you reach equanimity, you can then focus on what you truly desire. Attempting to hide, repress, or suppress emotions ensures they'll return with greater intensity in the future. Even positive affirmations can sometimes function as a form of resistance if you're using them to avoid feeling uncomfortable emotions. This three-step method, applied consistently, holds the power to completely transform your life. When you learn to accept, redirect, and choose what you desire, you liberate energy previously wasted on resistance. You're using your attention effectively to create your preferred reality. Remember, acceptance isn't surrender or defeat. It's recognizing present reality without judgment. Within this space of acceptance, our vision clarifies, and the path to our desires reveals itself. By embracing even worst-case scenarios, we release energy previously squandered fighting against them. Our attention then becomes the driving force for positive change as we redirect our focus toward what we truly want, causing reality to reconfigure accordingly. As conscious co-creators, We possess the ability to choose our path, shape our experiences, and define our destinies. True transformation begins when we direct our attention toward what genuinely matters in our lives. Move forward with confidence and purpose. You are the architect of your own destiny. I'm deeply grateful you've joined me on this journey of discovery. If these insights have sparked something within you, please support this channel by liking and subscribing. Share this message with those who might benefit from these transformative concepts, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts, breakthroughs, and personal experiences with these principles. Your participation creates a community of conscious creators. Thank you for your presence and attention today. Until we meet again, remember that your attention is creating your reality in every moment.